Collateralizing America with Sam Davis, Part 3.
I can prove it to you this way. Some friends of mine had this indictment. And in the course of defending themselves against this indictment, they filed criminal complaints of their own, except theirs were styled a little differently. It said United States of America, and it had a defendant named, except up here under United States of America, it said Billy Smith, ex-rel citizen. Now, this is a criminal complaint. Why? Because you've named an injured party. Okay? Ex-rel is ex-relator, relator, the person who supplies the information, the injured party. Okay? Now, when he took it to the United States Attorney and says, we'd like to file this criminal complaint, you know what the United States Attorney said? We don't handle criminal complaints here. True story. We don't handle criminal complaints here, but we will file stamp it received. So they took their file stamped copy, received, and they went to the United States Federal Building in Boise to the federal magistrate. And they went right in his office and they handed it to his clerk and said, we would like to file this criminal complaint. You know what she said? We don't handle criminal complaints here. They only handle civil complaints. They wait for you. Remember, anything you say can and will be used against you. Do you understand these charges as I have read them to you? No. Could you read them again? Now do you understand them? No. This is the whole key to everything they do. They have to have your consent. Art. He says, if I continue to say no, is that a good way of getting held in contempt? You have a definite stalemate. Because what he's going to do, he's going to roll right over you and say, I find that you do understand and I'm entering a plea of not guilty. And you go walking away going, wow, wonder what happened there. Okay?
What happened to your consent?
That's when I'm going to say, he says, what happened to my consent? That's when I'm going to say, I don't consent to you doing that. And he'll say, I don't care. Because he can. But that's when we're going to get into, have you really appeared? And you're going to find that when we go through this over the course of the rest of the day and tomorrow, that you're not really there. Yes?
Was it criminal on the side of when you consent, it goes to civil on the...
No, it's the other way around. Okay? All right. Isn't it interesting that the United States Attorney and the federal magistrate both say, we don't handle criminal complaints here? We were stunned. Number one, we were stunned that they would say that to us. It's really interesting to have them say what they have said over the course of the last 2 years. Sometimes we just walk away in amazement going, man, we got to go talk about this, because we got to figure out what's going on here. Okay? Now, my friends who went through a trial after doing accepted for value, I'll give you one, accepted everything for value that came, the indictment, the summons, everything that happened. Didn't go to court on the day of the trial, were arrested, taken to court, and the trial started immediately. And at 5 o'clock, they were re-handcuffed, taken to jail. The next morning, they were brought back to the courtroom from jail, set in the defendant's chair with an attorney on either side of them, court appointed, which they also accepted for value. And they went through the whole court procedure all day that day. At which point they took him back to jail, brought him back the next morning from the jail, put him in the same 2 chairs, and at 10:30 that morning, my friend's attorney stood up to cross-examine a government witness and said, "I stand alone, and I don't believe you've met my clients, the defendants." And then he named them, and then he reached down to my friend and grabbed his coat and tugged on him and lifted him up, and they stood up, and you know what the judge says? "Let the record reflect the defendants have appeared in the courtroom." Now, they've been in jail for 2 nights. They've been in court on trial for 3 days. On the morning of the 3rd day, they appeared. Where were they? Rolled again. That's exactly right. Rolled again. Okay? Where were they? If they just then appeared, where were they before that? They were never there. And the judge had had a meeting with these 2 attorneys and says, "You guys have got real problems. Your clients have been in my courtroom now going on 3 days and they have yet to appear, and you better figure it out." Okay? You better figure it out, because this can't go on any longer. You know why? Because their buddy over here put in a writ of habeas corpus. And it's going to have to be answered because it's already at Rehnquist's office in Washington, D.C. And by the way, they were out of jail that night. Okay? These attorneys know no depths to which they will go to deceive you. They absolutely rolled over my friends, their clients. Okay? No questions asked. How many times have you seen on TV on a legal show, and the attorney's there, the public defender usually, and the client's there, the criminal, and the judge reads it, starts to call the case, he calls the case, and then the attorney jumps up and says, "Your Honor, we will waive reading and move to bail." You ever hear that? We will waive reading of the charges. We'll waive verifying. They're already verified. Let's just go to bail. Now let's think about that term. Let's go to bail. I've heard that term before, bail, somewhere. Seems like it was an idol in the scripture. And you're about to get sacrificed to bail. And that's the truth. Okay? So we'll waive this reading and we'll go right to bail. What did he do to you? He's just holding you there in jail. In that chair, he's got your hands tied behind your back and he's saying, "Go ahead, Judge, I got him. Hammer on him, beat on him, do whatever you want. I got him. He can't do nothing." Why? Because we waived the reading and the verification. We'll just grant you that. Well, when you grant that, you give them everything. It's just a matter of how much or how long. Okay? That's the way the system is designed, and that's the way it works. And I can go to case after case after case where we've watched it take place firsthand. These people know no depths that they will go to get you into jail because it means money to them. The judge gets a bounty at the federal level for every person that goes to jail. The prosecutor gets his bounty for every person that goes to jail. Okay? It's all about money. Only problem is there ain't any. So they got to hold you because you're the substance. You're the only substance left. Okay? Your time, labor, and energy is harnessed by jail, fine, community service, probation, or otherwise. All it is a harnessing of your labor, time, and energy. Because that's all there is. And they have to consent, you have to consent to them and for them to do it. And we're going to try and show you how to cure that.